And let's rip the Nissan Pathfinder. It's a loud engine, let me tell you that. Oh boy. I've spent all week driving this 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. So let's start up with what we get under the hood. It's a 3.5 liter V6 engine, does 284 horsepower, 259 pound-feet of torque from, of course, a 9-speed automatic transmission. We're also getting that all-wheel drive because it is meant to handle whatever weather we can throw at. So let me pick up the camera now and I'll give you a close-up view of this Pathfinder Rock Creek. So starting off up front, there's not a lot that's changed with the Nissan Pathfinder this year. We have these nice daytime running LEDs that come all the way along this strip here, and right here we have the main headlight as well as some fog lights way low down there. But overall it's very, very nice. We also have a front parking sensor, or front camera actually. Big old Nissan logo right there that I like. I do like the design, really like the color because it can get dirty very easily and you cannot tell. I haven't washed this thing yet and you still can't tell because it masks the dirt so well, which is great because it blends in with the Rock Creek name or with the off-road status. It's gonna get muddy, but you might not even notice because it'll still look clean, except for on those little black parts right down there. Moving over now onto the side profile, you can see these nice 18-inch big boy off-road wheels meant to handle absolutely everything you can throw at it. Check out the tread on those things too. It's just, my favorite part is honestly these wheels and these rims. They're so big, they're so rugged looking. They really live up to the Pathfinder Rock Creek name, if you will. I really like that. You can see how the rear windows too are a little bit more tinted than the passenger windows, which is very nice too. Then last but not least, we move on here to the back side of things where we have some nice tail lights, big Pathfinder logo, the Rock Creek logo. I like the fact they advertise stuff. On the bottom here, we have this little tow hitch that you could put your stuff in if you need it. It's also got some very nice tail lights back here. I almost feel like they were so close to making the light bar, but I guess something made them decide not to do it. But that would be cool to just have this light bar. Maybe they'll do it on the electric version of the Pathfinder if anyone ever comes out. Anyways, let's take a look at the automatic tailgate here. Press that one time, it's gonna open. You get a good shot as well of the 3-row kind of thing, the 3rd row, because I left this side down. So you can see that they've got cup holders back there, and just not a lot of leg room. If you can see that right there is my bag right there, but you can see just how much leg room you're actually working with. There's basically nothing, but it's a large space, right? So you don't have to trade, you don't have to have the 3rd row. You can push that guy down and you have so much room. You can even pull them up. It's very easy to use, but I like it. And we also have these Rock Creek labeled mats that are definitely dirty, and you can see that, but they're very easy to clean, which is a good thing as well. So overall, I do like the interior or the exterior of the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek, but let's go inside and check out that. All right, first up, we're checking out the back of the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. Open up the door, lots and lots of black, but I let it get away with it this time because it is a rugged build here. The Rock Creek is meant to get dirty and meant to be clean. So with all this black, with not a lot of color and not a lot of anything else, we're gonna clean it very easily. 2 cup holders here, very nice. Then we have some nice orange and black stitching. It adds a little bit of detail, just enough that it's not too boring. And these seats also adjust, go forward and backwards. There is a 3rd row back there too that is folded down, but I'll tell you now, I don't fit in it very well. So I'm gonna give you what it looks like right here, and basically whatever it looks like right here is about half of that. But it isn't decent at all. I mean, it isn't bad. It's decent in the back seat. It's not terrible. But here in the front seat, this is my driver profile. I've got a ton of room. So we also have a HVAC control here back here. Love that little touch. I can turn it on or off. I'm gonna keep it off because nobody sits back here. We also have a USB-C and USB-A. It's very nice. There is no heated seats or anything back here, but it's okay. I would say we have a nice view of the sunroof, but there is none at all. So there you go. Not much going on there, but seats are very comfortable. I like the way they feel and fit. Nice little pull down thing here. And then I'll give you a shot of the 3rd row. I kind of folded it down because it gives you way more trunk space than you actually need, but that's kind of nice. That's the option you have in a 3-row SUV. So let's hop up there into the business end of things. Let's take a look up front. Alrighty, up front, business end of things with the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. Open the door and we have a little bit more detail for the door here. We have a nice little leather trim with the orange stitching, which I like. Orange stitching here too. Some buttons here for this is cruise control, this is the trunk button, and this is the illumination stuff. So nothing crazy there. Look at this though. Rock Creek embroidered on the seats. Love that touch too. I like to see it. You know, if it's going to be a specialty edition, let it be known. So now we're in the front seat. Really dig this steering wheel. I don't know why. I like the simplicity of it. I like the orange stitching that goes around in here. It's very easy to use. These buttons are there's nothing crazy to it. There's nothing complicated to it at all, so I like that. Then you have a mix of your digital and your analog gauge cluster here, which we've seen a lot of times. Prefer it to be all digital, but it is what it is. So this part here is fine. This part I have no issue with. Gives you some basic information with fuel and all that good stuff, as well as a bunch of your sensors, your your front sensor and everything like that. Parking sensors would be there too. Blind spot detection, can turn it on and off from there. All that stuff is right in there. You can control that. So that part works fine. Unfortunately, we move over here, and first of all, this is kind of small for what I was expecting for the price. And it is a little bit on the laggy side. Sometimes it's not always the most responsive. Right now it's okay. I find when I have Apple CarPlay connected, it's a little bit worse, but you can already see it. This isn't the camera doing that. It is lagging like that. So it's not the greatest thing in the world. And then the cameras as well. I complain about this on the Infinity, where they're not the greatest. Doesn't look like they've been updated in a few years, so we're gonna say that again with the Rock Creek. But you know what, for what it is, I mean, you're meant to take it off road and get it dirty, and so you don't really need this big TV screen, so it's all right. I just wish it had maybe more speed to it. That's what we'll say there. A little bit lower, we have the HVAC control, the HVAC system. Very simple, again, easy to use. Don't mind this at all. All my buttons are right here. Heated steering button here. I can turn the rear off, and I can also control the rear climate from up here. We also have our heated seats right here. Dual zone automatic climate control, very nice. Then a little bit lower, I have this nice looking shifter here. I like this shifter where I can go into any drive mode. Not a lot of move to it, but it's simple. You don't need anything else. Behind here, you just have your normal USB and your normal USB-C and your normal USB. No wireless charging pad, but it's fine. There's quite a lot of gloss black around this area as well, so you're going to want to be careful with it, especially since you may be taking this thing off-road. You might want to keep it in mind. I like the leather trim though along the side here. Plenty of storage right down there. A little bit of cup holders like this again. Pathfinder Rock Creek, that's very cool. A little bit of storage in there as well. Can't hate on that. I like the way the passenger side looks. The passenger seat though is kind of lower. It's just lower set than the driver's, but I don't mind it. Again, we have that Rock Creek there. Very comfortable. The speakers in here are okay. They're better than what you would find on a base Hyundai and Kia, so I'll give it that, but maybe not much more. But I do like the design. I like the comfort. I like the way it drives when I'm sitting in it, so that's really cool. And speaking of driving, let me take you on the road for this thing. Let's take it for a drive. Let me put you in the driver's seat. All right, let's get things started here with the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. Let's take this thing out on the road. So we're approaching the end of the week, so overall it's been a pretty comfortable week, all things considered. Not too bad. Really not like the most comfortable SUV I've been in terms of just ride quality, but also wasn't expecting that because this is one of maybe the more cost savings ones on the market. Also, it's meant for really the off-road stuff and to handle pretty much any weather that you could throw at it, and I think it does that really well. I think it meets all those objectives really well, and it's also a 3-row SUV with plenty of space to boot, so really not a huge complaint with that side of stuff. Now, I wasn't kidding when I said that it has so many different drive modes. We have normal, snow, mud, sand, an eco mode, a sport mode, and a tow mode, and it's all controlled by this guy right down there. So that is really useful. So let me actually throw it into sport mode. I've been actually driving an automatic, which just kind of adjusts things for whatever kind of condition you're in. So I'm assuming it's adjusting the way that the all-wheel drive system is going to behave in this case. So that's cool. And so I've just driven that with that on. So I'm pretty sure it's probably been putting me in eco mode for most of the week because I haven't been doing a lot of aggressive driving. But let's do some aggressive driving. Let me pump on the brakes here and let's rip the Nissan Pathfinder. It's a loud engine, let me tell you that. Oh boy. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Really not a lot to complain about there. It's definitely a little bit laggy on the low end, but then once it starts to pick up, you're good. No problem overtaking slower traffic or anything. It's got the right amount of horsepower to get you out of any situation you might find yourself in. But again, this SUV isn't really meant to be fast. I wasn't expecting it to be fast. So it's perfectly fine for what that is as well. It also has like a manual mode because we have these paddle shifters, so I can like pull it all the way back, put it into manual mode, give it some gas. And yeah, I just kind of stay like, there's no reason to shift. I mean, I can shift in the 8th, but it's not going to do anything. So yeah, and then I can downshift again, and then floor it. Will it let me? Well, it's really slow in this mode. Yeah, it doesn't really shift up that well. Like, it's really meant for, I don't think the manual mode is meant for any type of like sport performance driving. It's more meant for just selecting your gear, you know, because you want a second gear ratio when you're, I don't know, trying to get out of mud or trying to tow something. It's really going to be more for that. But anyways, it's fine for what it is. Let me pop back into my automatic mode just so I can be comfortable here, not spend about $100 on gas. So speaking of gas, let's take a look. I can actually see all this stuff from my infotainment. So my average is a 14.2 per 100 liter, 14.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Let's speak properly today, which I was expecting way worse because this vehicle is big. I mean, when you looked at it from the outside with me, you saw how big these tires were, you saw how big this frame was, and it does drive big as well. So I was expecting the fuel economy to be a lot worse, and it's good news that it's only 14. I was expecting higher than that. We've seen higher than that. It is obviously on the high end, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit better than I was expecting. So that is not bad news at all. I'm also a pretty big fan of the feel of the steering wheel. I know I said that in the interior tour, but I really am. Having it like for a week, it's grown on me a lot. I like the design for some reason. It's so simple, yet I like it a lot. It just feels like something classic to it. I don't know. And I like the way the leather feels, and it's kind of like almost decutted-ish, like it's not necessarily a full circle, and I like the size of it. I mean, there's no feedback or anything from it, like I don't feel the road from it, but again, not expecting that. Like this thing in the winter or just an off-road, like if you're taking it camping or you're towing an RV or anything, that's where this thing is meant to live. That's where this thing is just gonna excel and be, you know, be in its element. But even just the daily stuff, you're gonna be fine too. Like I'm using it for, you know, daily grocery stuff and all that stuff like that. So really an easy car to live with. And if you have the space needs in terms of people, then you got the extra 3-row when you need it, and you just got a whole bunch of space in the rear, so can't complain about that. Visibility is very good. Like the ride height, I'm a fan of the ride height. I'm a fan of, like, you know, how everything's laid out. That's decent too. Not a lot to complain about there. Really, there's not too much to complain about other than there's no panoramic sunroof, but if you're taking it off-road, you don't really care about that. You know, it's not the most sporty thing in the world. I think the ride quality could be better in terms of like an off-road car. I feel like you'd still really feel the bumps in like mountains and stuff. So I feel like if it's gonna be used off-road, you're still gonna feel it. You're maybe gonna get tossed around a bit more than you'd like, but again, if that's the kind of thing you want, it's easy to clean. Exterior and interior wise, I love those rims. Oh my god, the wheels on this thing have just been growing on me. They look like such tanks, and in the winter it would just suit it so well. So maybe I'll check out the Nissan Pathfinder once again in the winter if they have anything new going on, or maybe not the Rock Creek, but a Pathfinder in general, because I'm sure these drive modes are still there, and let's just see how it does in the winter. That would be really cool. Or if you own one in the winter, or you're doing a lot of off-roading in your Nissan Pathfinder and you own the Rock Creek edition of it, please let me know in the comments. I don't get to test these things in the off-road conditions unless like Nissan makes like the special event thing where that can happen, but I don't think that they would do that. And if they are going to do that, they're going to do that when the car comes out, not right now when it's already out. So eventually that might be the case, but not right now. So let me know in the comments, basically, if I missed anything, or if you have an off-road version of this and you actually use it for that purpose, or camping or whatever. Let me know how easy that is, because those are things I unfortunately don't get to test. I just get to test the everyday general use of these things. Take them to work, take them back home, take them to run errands, take them to have fun, take them to do whatever, just take them to drive. That's what I do. If you're interested in what that life is like, then you can follow me, or you can subscribe, obviously, and you can look at my A Week With series that I've started, and I'm gonna try to do it for like all the cars I get for the next couple months and see how things go with that. And if not, the review will always be here. So final thoughts for the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creeks. If you're looking for a good rugged SUV that's easy to clean, maybe you have a lot of kids, they're messy, they're dirty, and the Pathfinder suits your need because you have that optional 3rd row, then this is very easy. It's gonna get dirty, but it's also gonna be very simple to clean. You can throw any type of weather at it. I'd feel completely safe in this. In the rain, winter, snow, mud, whatever, and even in the mountains, I probably feel completely safe in this guy. The drivetrain is pretty good. Enough speed to get you where you need to go, enough gas mileage that you're not really breaking the bank too much, but it is going to be expensive because it is a big 3-row SUV at the end of the day. So maybe one day they'll electrify it, but so far I have not seen anything. The next one should be the Araya, so if you're into Nissan, stay tuned to the channel because I've got another one coming if everything goes well next week, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You take care, and we'll see you in the next week. See you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Take care.